Here I am, folks, week 23, Scrap Masters. Are you ready to see what we're going to roll and spin for our random block today? I certainly am. Let's get started. And that is right. Welcome back to Scrap Masters week 23 random scrap block generator. I am your overly caffeinated host, even though it isn't even coffee time, Rob Appell, and I'm so glad you were here. There are so many things I want to tell you all about. Quickly though, we need to get our display table cleared off so we can roll and spin our way to today's random block. Obviously I'm set up, I'm super wound up. I've been promising for weeks. We're not going to talk long, but yes, I have 3. There were 4 bundles, but the new world's already sold out. So I have newer worlds, newest worlds, and groundworks available. They are 9 half-yard bundles. But wait, there's more. That's right. I had, we're quilters. We had mismatched parts and pieces. So I thought it would be really cool to make what I'm calling a fire and ice bundle. And it also features a yard. So these are half yards here, but these are 1 yard cuts of the big all over kaleidoscope print. So I'm really excited to offer all 4 different bundles, but even more exciting than the shirts on the Merch Depot link on robappell.com, where you can now order the So Well Rob Appell shirt with the Sacred Heart, the brand new logo. But those folks who've been asking, especially on our Facebook group, So Well with Rob Appell, please join if you have not. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. The Scrap Masters. Are you ready for this, folks? Are you ready? Yes, it's available. Yes, my son and I have been working 3D printing, and we now have it's a little smaller than the Texas size version over there, but I wanted to make it easy to keep track of, and just parts and pieces. Again, really nice plexiglass base. It's got the color wheel. It actually has the color wheel for paint mixing on the back as well. Super cool spinner for us, and safety. Yeah, it's a washer, not a real blade, so you can't cut with the rotary cutter. Scrap Masters embroidered, or engraved on there. Embroidered. Mine's on stitching today, and I have included a really cool, nice matched die set with a 6-piece and 20-piece die. So at any rate, today, folks, we are going to use the new Scrap Masters setup, the tools. Eventually we'll go back to the giant die, but I thought it'd be really fun for us here today if we roll and spin our way. Now, when I was in school, my number was 23. Can you believe I was a football player? They'd give me the ball and I was so scared to get tackled, I would just run like crazy. 1 touchdown in 4 years. It wasn't a very good ball player. But anyways, iron is hot. Let's do this, folks. What are we going to do? What is our block? With the mini die. Oh, it jumped out of my hands, but I like it. We're going with it, folks. That was an official roll. We're started. Block 5. What are we looking at, folks? If you're new here, sorry, I guess I should slow down a little bit. I am really excited about what's going on. We are rolling our way to making the quilts you see on the wall. The one behind me was series 1. This one over here is series 2. And today we're going to make this really fun star block with kind of a checkerboard 4-patch. Should be some simple sewing as we go. So block number 5, what color are we going to use? Here we go. Oh, I love the way that feels. Orange. Fantastic. We're using orange. Block 5. How many different fabrics can we pick from our beautiful tray? And yes, as I cut down the fabrics, I found I had strips left, so I increased my strip count, my cuts down into the 3-inch squares. For me, using 3-inch squares for all of this is super easy for scrap management, which was really fun. And then I also went through my stash, making space in my studio here for the inventory of the bundles. I went through my stash and got myself more organized, found some lovely fabrics, and of course some real treasures, and also built those into my golden treasure box there. So anyway, how many of those different pieces of fabric can I use today? How many different? 8. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for more than 8, but it's okay. We've been really in the 12s, 15s recently, so maybe 8's perfect. Either way, it's what we're doing. There are no rules if you're concerned about the rules today, clearly in writing here. And let's go ahead and see what we can build. It looks like, because color orange, I'm going to now focus on using this fabric. I've been using one of my low volume neutrals from the Groundworks bundle. So that's where these are all coming from. Here is this bundle there, right? So those Groundworks fabrics, now I'm using this one as my orange, as my base, my background. That'll give me 7 more to pick from. And so that will be this light today. And I did pick some really nice, fun, and new fabrics in the oranges as well for my darks and my mediums. So let's see here. I could pull this. We could do an all monochrome today because there isn't that many. Those and those could be my darks. Ooh, we could play because of the positioning. Yes, I could make this actually my medium as you see it. And then the lights could come from, we could integrate maybe, ooh, this crazy bright yellow I found. And maybe this. Don't like it. I don't like it. That's all I'm going to say about that. So now what I'm going to say is I want to use, it was just too much texture. Yeah. Here we go. So lights, mediums, darks, that's 5. So now I can really add in a couple of more. I really like this orange. I don't know if it's going to taint our discussion there. Have I used this on the wall anywhere yet? We don't have. Oh, I did. I split one. Oh, that's right. Because in the split block up here, this allowed me originally to use a lot of different fabric choices in there. So yeah, that's really fun. That's inspiring. Maybe I want to rethink this for a moment as I get less and less blocks. I also have one in all green I see up there. All yellow. This all orange. I'm going to rethink this. I want to rethink this. So now what I'm deciding is I'm going to make this pop as a whole different color. I'm going to use this as the light. I'm going to use these as, let's go crazy fun. But yeah, we'll integrate that solid there. So we're going to skip these. We'll put those back later. So now there's that. And that's actually going to be partly in my background with these to say orange. And now I want a color that's going to really pop off of here. And I don't have a turquoise star yet. So I think this will be really fun. Look at these colors against the new ones we're bringing in here. Here's that one from the Granny's Attic. Okay, so now we've got, there's 4. Yeah, I only need one more. There it is. Yep. So I'm going to make my star out of this. I'm going to make my background out of the oranges. So now these are all referred to as my darks. This is where sometimes we have to keep our head straight. For our lights today, let's start with our half square triangles. I need 2 from my light and my dark combos. So I'm just going to pick this here, set this aside. That's those centers. Oh, okay. And now I also have 4 more necessary. For the outer points. So we're going to mix them up. And I don't have a ton of this little olive print, so I'm not going to use it up too much. So I'm going to save it, use these, and now we can actually mix and match in the center also. Okay, so all 5 of those light, dark, that'll yield us 10 of the half square triangles necessary there. Now, for the medium and dark combinations, I believe I just really have 2. So for the medium dark combinations, let's use this orange. It's going to really pop. That makes up the rest of that, and that should be the rest of our half square triangles. So we're not many half square triangles today. Should be pretty simple. Fantastic. And then now I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the rest of these. So I'm going to pull a few more to cut these down into my squares. So I'm going to do 3 of these, 4 of these, and I'm just going to line them up on the bottom corner. And then 1 more of these to distribute the colors right. Excellent. So now all of this can be set aside. I'll need 4 of the lights per side, so that's 8 more. And I had a couple trimmed down. Let's see, 2, 4, 6. That's wonderful. So I just need 2 more here. And then again, I'll need 4 more, 8 more as I go around. So I'm just going to choose 2 from each of these. Oh, I love it when I find them that are already pre-cut down. Makes life so easy. That was the benefit of working through my scraps, working through my stash, and getting organized. I think with my sewing brain, folks, you know, one of the reasons I really enjoy sewing is it helps me settle my ADHD brain and helps me because I like the focus of what's going on, and actually funny trying to sew and talk and have all these video cameras and lights and microphones and things that I'm trying to pay attention to is actually kind of soothing in a weird way. When I'm done making these videos for you all, I really feel quite relaxed afterwards. And so as I'm building today in this and working through, I'll tell you, it was really nice getting myself organized because everything in my environment right now is very tidy, very clean, and that really helps also. In case some of you also struggle a little bit with being anxious or getting wound up, maybe those would be some strategies that would help you as well. Staying tidy. I know, but it's hard to stop and not be distracted long enough to get some of that tidy work done. Okay, so let's go ahead, cut down these corners. 2.5, 2.5. Same here on this stack. I think that corner is my best. The rest of these we'll make half square triangles out of by first rotating my edge guide that I love out of the way. And then I'm going to eyeball a diagonal line using the seam tape on the corner there. Sew through, and then just chain piecing style, I'm going to go down one side of all of these 3-inch squares that are paired up right sides together to be my half square triangles. Don't cut those. Once all your half square triangles have been separated, then just rotate around to the other side of your diagonal line or your seam tape, however you're doing it. Set up for your second. These will yield 2 each 2.5-inch half square triangles. Again, separate these apart as you were chain piecing them, and now we're going to use our rotary cutter And our, probably should use a straight edge, keep things safe here. And then we'll trim these down here in a moment. I'll show you. So once they're separated, lay your 2.5-inch dotted line just slightly above the thread and trim both edges, dog ear, and then go on over and press to the darker of the two fabrics. Very simple like that. We're going to do that to all of them, but I'm going to start doing this while we're visiting a little bit because I am so excited, and I know that I was going super fast at the beginning of this video because I am so pumped up to have spent the last few days not only in my sewing room super excited working and listening to music, but also because I am so blessed by all of you out there. Thank you so much for the orders, folks. So yes, let's slow down. There are these wonderful Sew Well with Rob Appell t-shirts available. And I'm using Sticker Mule. This is a company I have tried and true tested for years, and their apparel and their stickers, and I love them. And so you can order direct. And by doing that, there's not much of a markup, but they're available. They come in green. I also have a black hoodie, which is awesome for the tattoo shop, and my original black logo, turquoise logo, is inspired by Iron Man, big old center chest logo. Anyway, so those are fun. You can check them out. robappell.com has a direct link, and of course, I've been putting them on social media as well. The bundles, $50 for 9.5 yards is a steal, and they're all color coordinated and customized to the actual lines in which I put out. I put out 4 lines over the last couple of years with Bendertex, and I'm really excited about them. Now, New Worlds was the first one that came out, the really brights and bolds you see, and it did sell through all but immediately. And so now that we're down to the last of it, and I'm doing bundles for myself now as an independent designer, making my living for my family here on YouTube and traveling and teaching, I wanted to have some of my own merch available, whether it be fabrics, templates, patterns, or shirts and stickers, based on all of your requests. Again, thank you so much for blessing me with your support. So the bundles are available as long as they're available, and I will try to keep making more. But quilting is a lot like selling fabric, meaning that you always end up with mismatched parts and pieces at the end. So what I have done is, like I said, I went through and I made this really super cool bundle that I think is gorgeous that I'm calling Fire and Ice. And I think I only have 7 of them totally available, and they will be on robappell.com right now, but they weren't on any earlier. So thank you if you've already ordered. I hope that didn't frustrate anybody, but I realized just as I was prepping for the video today that I should do that for all of you. And I won't do it often, maybe once a quarter or so. I'll try to gather and curate a series of fabrics that'll be awesome together, so we can use them, kind of like I was doing with the Boneyard bundles before. So anyways, I just love having fabrics. I love having the colors, but I also teach so many workshops that I know that with these half-yard setups, you can grab a bundle and mix and match to your solids or your tonals at home as well to do anything like my double tumbler, my wonky log cabin, of course, the Scrap Masters, the Super 60. All of my different workshops work off of a series of kind of solids or tonals so that you can really see the pattern in what you're learning. That's part of what I like to teach. So anyways, and you can also invite me via Zoom or in person to your local guild or local quilt shop. Reach out, robappell.com. I would love to do that for all of you. And let's get ourselves focused on this as we're working through here. In a second, we're going to design out the block. But I also want to mention the Scrap Masters color wheel spinners. From day one, all of you were asking, and yes, I built the original one in my garage on a color wheel I had with a piece of plywood and an old rotary cutter and a screw and some washers. And as awesome as it is, that would have been quite expensive to produce. So I am offering, as long as I can make them, and I don't know how long I can keep up with this, but for $30, you will get the spinner, you will get the die set, and you will get a pattern printed out and the cool color copy of the quilt behind me and all of that. And it's just a really cool and fun way of doing it. And like I said, super high quality. We're printing the spinners ourselves on our 3D printer, and they're super dense plastics for the right weight and everything. We spent a long time engineering these because we saw there was going to be a demand. And like I said, I am ordering the big holdup's going to be the color wheels themselves. I'm buying them and mounting them. Like I said, I just love the way they look. I didn't think I could do any better myself. And then of course the stickers. And I think we should do a Scrap Master sticker. Don't you all think we should do a Scrap Master sticker as well? I think that would be fantastic. So at any rate, that's the next thing on my to-do list here. Maybe even after coffee and today's video, I will start in on a Scrap Master sticker, and they'll be available when you purchase your Scrap Masters spinner as a gift from me. All right, here we go. Let's lay this out, folks. We now have, like I said, 4 patches in the corners and kind of these real easy starts. I always like to start in the center. I want to mix it up, and I'm going to need what we were calling the 2 different light and darks. Maybe I'm going to want these up here for a minute. And then these 2 different light and mediums, but they're going to come in this way. So you see how I've now got this print 3 times? I want to choose a different one. I'm going to choose my alternate one there. So that's going to make it already automatically way more scrappy and way more interesting looking. Right? So then around this, let's make it easy on ourselves and let's lay our squares in next. These are all from the same families. So now we're going to lay in our dark squares, and we're going to, again, focus on variety. Probably can't do it without all this. Ooh, can I? Neat. Okay. So some variety where I don't really think I have the same seams, the same fabric touching at those same seams. Super cool there. Now we can fill in these spaces with what would be our medium. So that's what's going to be from these oranges. And let's, we'll do like kind of kitty corner. I have a feeling will help us keep from getting we'll mix it up a little bit more so you cannot see the pattern. There we go. So you see how I've swapped around the oranges now, so they're not in any of the same positions necessarily. So this is going really, really well. And then the rest we're going to fill in here and here. Each of those will always be what I was calling my light fabrics. So it's going to have an orange appeal and feel to it today. And then back to these here where we're just going to have the lights pointing out. And I'm going to do my best again to use a different fabric on that seam in each position if possible. This will be the rotation game of the brain for a while here. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. And I think I can pull it off here, given the criteria. Yes, I can. Spin it. Come on. Like 18 turns. There we go. It should have only taken 3. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, very cool. So from here on out, I'm just going to prepare myself. Iron's hot. Now let's lock in our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to go unit by unit or piece by piece across the rows, sewing these little seams, and then I'll press them all to nest them all here in a moment. So just cutting my thread, grabbing the next one, making sure everything stayed in the proper orientation, fold it over, back to that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then of course, once you have all of the blocks together or units together in rows, now we're going to go ahead and press them so that each of the seams are heading in different directions. And I'm pretty excited about the way this has all turned out, as scrappy as it has, with only 8 different fabrics. So right now I'm just holding my individual rows up, and I'm going to let the iron kind of press over each seam as I go. And then the trick is just take every other row and rotate it on your way in to the ironing board. And even though, yeah, this one's all straight seams, no half square triangles, I still want to make sure I'm honoring the seam allowances, and I'm making it as scrappy as I possibly can. And that happened by taking that time. So what you really saw happen today was evaluating the quilt on the wall. So remember back about week 6 or 7, I started to like the blocks. The first several weeks, I didn't even like them. I really was questioning the use of the low volume neutrals going into the blocks. Now that we're moving forward, I'll say I really do like what's happening up here on the wall, especially after, and what did you all think of sewing in the great outdoors? Wasn't that awesome, sewing out of the Solar Sequoia? Sanford, the Solar Sewing Sequoia, when we made this block here. And yeah, the way that now gives me that option again, we started playing with what can we do, and we have these same blocks but built with different color families, working possibly from the center of the quilt, or maybe we'll take this and offset it eventually, depending on however many other colors we have. Originally, I felt like 24 blocks when I was building this one was enough, but it's actually quite small. I prefer not to, even though they're 12-inch squares with the 5x7 layout by the 35 that this is. Much nicer size. And so I'm very pleased with that. Let's make sure I've got those all same orientation. Okay. So then seams are heading in the same directions. So I'm going to rotate this one. So yeah, I'm really now excited, and you saw me start to evaluate where I saw that this block 5, the star block, has actually been used multiple times, and it really could be utilized this way to work differently in the quilt. It was looking too yellow. I had too many of these when I looked up at the design wall. So that's why I decided to add in the turquoise today. Now I'm just going to go ahead and flip these over, match up my seams back to the 1/4 inch seam allowances, and sew all of this through. And I do want to, I guess, address a little bit more about the outdoor sewing, the solar sewing. Absolutely love it. I did get a concerned email, Lisa, I believe. I'm sorry if I had you worried. I am not homeless. I am, in the beard, I think, is the problem maybe for everybody, or not everybody. I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on it, one being which from my wife. So I've decided to keep it at least as long as she'll allow. And so, yeah, things are going well. I had talked about hitting some stressful situations over the last several months, and some of it has already worked itself out, as you can see with what we've got going on here. I'm going to go ahead and iron after each seam, ironing up into the block at this point if I can. Not that it really matters, especially because all the blocks will go on differently on the wall. Eventually, they're always rotating based on the design, the way they look visually. So yeah, Stitch in Heaven decided that they would like to have me work more just on events, and so I terminated, however you want to say it, position was eliminated of the management of YouTube. So I'm not doing YouTube for Stitch in Heaven at all anymore, and that's why you're seeing the changes here. And I really like it. It's offering a lot of independence, but it also is some forced creativity. How will I get to make the income that I'm used to making? And that has really been fun. So again, I have more travel time available, and I have a booking manager, Sherry, who is getting me very, very booked up doing quilt guilds. and classes at quilt shops and things, which is so fun because you know how I love to teach in person. It's really the best way. I'm making the jokes and hugging on folks, and there are always cookies, Mark. There's always cookies available, it seems like. And so at any rate, it's just been really fun. So I'm feeling incredibly blessed. And I really do thank you, all of you that have been reaching out and checking in on me. I love the social media banter about the beard. Again, it was just an idea, and it'll be here as long as it is. That's what we've got to say about the beard. But not homeless. Definitely not homeless, folks. Cars parked out in the front yard right now. I would like to keep doing some more improvements. I'm still thinking about that off-road paint for it, but I think after that last road trip, the really dialed in for transporting, for traveling, for having all the merch with me, the quilt show with me, the tattooing with me. It was really, really, really fun. And enjoyed being at multiple quilt guilds and different adventures along the way. Maybe I should produce that little story video after all. Do you all like those story videos when I do my little on the road trip videos? Maybe I should do more of those for you all here. Let me know in the comments. We've almost got our sewing done for today, folks. Good job, everybody. Hope you're keeping up, and or like I said, get your own color wheel spinner if you're ahead of the game. Yeah, I do this once a week, but really, I think a lot of you, especially for quilt guilds, would like to offer it at a different pace, and or I do think this is a great way to blow through your scraps. We have the Scrap Masters Retreat coming up out at Stitch in Heaven the end of this month, April, and I am tempted to start all of these blocks again, doing what I did with this one, using a common fabric as a background, but the same common fabric, like a couple of you on the Facebook group, So Well Rob Appell, are doing with white. I would like to do mine with black, either a batik black or a solid black. I think would be fantastic, but a single fabric, not a mix of common fabrics. I think there's one more approach to this layout that could be really terrific. Again, it would give you more blocks to make because your scraps would go further if they were only 2/3 of every block, right? Oh, this has turned out terrific. Oh my goodness. I am so excited. Look at this, folks. There we go. There's our block 5 in orange with only 8 fabrics this week. This is incredible. I am so proud to be part of this with all of you. Thanks for being part of the So Well Rob Appell community right here on YouTube. Folks, grab your bundles while you can. Don't forget the Fire and Ice limited edition. Get your Scrap Masters spinners. If I run out, which I probably will on the first round, I will be back in production in the next week or so. So I'll watch the website. Don't you worry about it. You place your orders and we'll make sure we get your Scrap Master color wheel spinner and die set made and shipped out to you right away, care of Braden and Rob Appell Designs. How fun is that? Getting to work with your son and technology and all that. So anyways, folks, have a blessed weekend. If you're watching this on the Friday, I forgot to mention you should have been chatting along on the premiere. Oh well, maybe next week. And until I see you all again, folks, thanks for being here, and please stay well.